Hope you adjusted your tracking because we be live, and that intro still says Eric the Dead.
So, funny story.
Was that ever updated?
No.
Yeah, I made
or
a
if
new
it
one.
was, I don't have it. That's why I never changed it.
Oh, okay.
I can't find it anywhere on the drive.
Oh, whatever.
Let me actually see if I have it on my computer.
Since this is a show about history, it's fine that we have it.
Yeah.
Eric the Dead is part of this history. But of course, we have Rabbit here with us tonight, who is remoting in. I myself, obviously, Gravity Well and Lock Steady here. Tonight, we're going to talk about the year that was
1998.
Woo! We're going to get a little bit of history lesson to open up the show here. The reason that I included this was because it was a pretty significant event in history, as well as it kind of, I guess, molded gaming, movies, music, and a lot of culture in many ways after this, because it became somewhat, I don't want to say acceptable, but ultimately opened things up for this type of conversation in homes. And if you're confused by what I'm about to say, we'll get into it. But first off, welcome, chat. Guess who's back? That would be Brett. Holy cow, welcome back.
Yes, sir. What's up, Brett?
Rabbit's like, hey. How you doing?
I'm trying to find that video. Hold on.
A video?
I want to see if I have that.
Oh, he's on a mission now to figure out if we update the trailer.
I'm paying attention.
Which hopefully we have it by next week, because that'll be closing out. So indeed. So 1 year ago, before we jump into history, we're going to talk about history. 1 year ago, we had Call of Duty World War II as our episode this week, 1 year ago. So we did a little thing, and we're going to do it again. This time Rabbit's going to sing. Sing, Rabbit.
No.
Aw.
What?
It's Rob's birthday.
Oh. I want to be so.
Happy birthday to you.
Ooh.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Locksteady in your butt.
That's
Just kidding.
that's the only place it's my birthday is in my butt.
Birthday to you.
And many more.
Probably just two since he's 63.
Yeah, you give me the heart. You can't.
So there you go. Happy birthday, bud. We did it 1 year ago, and this is now a new unwelcome tradition.
Very unwelcome.
Brett's happy birthday, fam.
Yes, happy birthday. So welcome back, Brett. Glad to see you're in the chat here. Glad to see you.
So,
Can't have a party unless it's the butt. That's right.
what is it that you're talking about that molded things? I'm pretty sure. I hope you're not talking about this first one we're about to talk about.
I am. So we're going to talk about a little bit of history, and again, it allowed. Well, yeah, it did though, and the reason why is because it became somewhat. I don't want to say accepted, but opened up households for this kind of conversation. Ultimately, made games have this kind of content, music, and culture in general. This was a huge shift in dynamic what was on television and the daily lives. Ultimately, it became part of. What are you confused by? No? Okay. Rob's what's going on, Rob? Is there confusion?
Do you think?
Okay. Launch it up then. Let's do it. Bloop. Okay. So the thing I want to talk about was the Lewinsky scandal.
Okay. I'm with you now.
So yes, he's with us now. The reason why I said that was such an important event is because it opened up things as far as these conversations, in the household. So the Lewinsky scandal. On American television, President Bill Clinton denied he had sexual relations with former White House intern Monica Lewinsky. This was, again, a big event for this year. We'll talk about more as it goes on. Other things that happened, April 22nd, the Disney Animal Kingdom theme park opened at Walt Disney World. June 16th, the Detroit Red Wings swept the Capitals in 4 games to win the 98 Stanley Cup. Microsoft released Windows 98, probably one of the more successful operating systems, in my opinion, up to this date. Anyways, August 17th, here we the continued Lewinsky scandal. President Bill Clinton admits in taped testimony that he had an improper physical relationship with White House intern Monica Lewinsky. He also admits before the nation that night in nationally televised address that he misled people about his sexual affair with Lewinsky. So again, as this year continues, we learn more and more about this affair. September 4th, Google Inc. is founded. So that's pretty important because no longer are multiple search engines a thing. We had the one that's going to define everything. You're no longer searching for something. You're Googling it. So that's incredibly important. Of course, this is done by Larry Page and Sergey Brin. October 12th, Congress of the United States passed the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, which is still a pain in my ass. It screws over so many things, including our YouTube copyright things, getting us flagged on almost everything that we put out there. So Thank you for that.
Screw you, Digital Millennium Copyright Act.
Indeed, right in the November 3rd, Jesse Ventura, former professional wrestler, is elected governor of Minnesota. Although he's not the governor, that'd be Schwarzenegger. But he is a governor of Minnesota, so he's no longer the body. And around this time, he became the mind.
He'll always be the body.
Well,
at this point, he started to represent the body.
Yeah, of the people, but he is the mind. November 19th, the Lewinsky scandal continues. The United States House of Representatives Judiciary Committee begins impeachment hearings against President Bill Clinton. November 24th, American Online announces it will acquire Netscape Communications in a stock-for-stock transaction worth $4.2 billion. And
Man.
December 19th, yeah, a lot of money, right?
Yeah, Netscape did really well after that.
No. Which is funny looking back in retrospect. You're like, oh man, yeah, these are going to be huge deals. December 19th, Lewinsky scandal. President Bill Clinton is impeached by the United States House of Representatives. He was later acquitted of any wrongdoing.
How long was he president before he was impeached?
That was his second term. So he was within 2 years of his second term. So 6 years at that point. Births that year. Some notable births we have up on our screen here. Ellie Fanning, over on your right middle. Jaden Smith, who of course is an actor, rapper, songwriter, dancer, and of course the son of Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. August 8th, we saw Shawn Mendes. You may know him from a few hit songs. He's a Canadian musician, so he's in the top right there. An unfortunate death this year. He was born in 1915 but died in 98. He was known as Frank Sinatra. So again, some things that were impactful in cultural history here in our opening little segment. Mr. Roberto. So hopefully you found that interesting and insightful as much as we did. The impeachment trial sponsored by AOL and Netscape. That's funny.
That's fun.
Lycos. I remember Lycos. Ask Jeeves is another good one. Hotbot? Was that a thing?
Yeah, I remember Hotbot.
Hotbot.com was a certain...
Yeah, I remember
like
that.
A porn site.
It really, really does.
You remember
Porn site for
WhiteHouse.com?
robots.
I got
don't.
in trouble for doing a report in school going to WhiteHouse.com.
I don't know what that is, and I don't think I want to know.
WhiteHouse.com back in the day was a porn site.
Apparently they were painting that house.
Yep. I pulled it up and they were, did I was like, oh no, teacher, this is not good. So I got in trouble.
But
for
it
that.
says White House.
Yeah, I'm like, I went to WhiteHouse.com.
Should have
no,
been
it's
.gov.
WhiteHouse.gov. Yeah, and it was .gov.
Don't go to whitehouse.edu.
But I didn't know back then there were other dots.
I think most people don't know that now.
Well, no, they don't.
White House, com.
So you could look that up on the Googlers. That was definitely a thing at one time.
Could Google it.
But we're going to dive into our first topic of the show here. The one that probably holds the most true to our hearts anyways. All three of us being big wrestling fans. At least I think so, right? No. Casual
I'm just
at
here
best.
for the free cookies.
Oh, you have cookies?
No, but
That's
I do
why you-
have Hershey's. Sponsored by Hershey's.
Why don't they make Hishies?
That sounds gross.
I don't know. That's the best I have for you here.
Milk chocolate, Hershey's.
Ew, that does sound gross.
See?
All right, our first topic here is pro wrestling. We're going to talk about Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Wrestler of the Year. Do you remember 98? Who would you have given that to?
I mean, I know.
Little
I
cheat
know
sheet
who
looking
it
at the
went
screen
to,
right
so
there.
I can't answer that question.
You don't know what?
I said I know who it went to, so I can't answer that question.
Oh. If you know anything about the early goings of the Attitude Era, one of the individuals that defined it the most was deserving of this award, and it went to Stone Cold Steve Austin. So, big year for him.
Legit.
He had won his, I think at this time, I could be wrong, his second Rumble. So, rightfully deserving. He was also recently injured, too, with his neck injury. So,
Who was?
Stone Cold. So,
Oh.
he had that pile driver from Owen Hart.
Oh, yeah.
Tag Team of the Year, the New Age Outlaws, of course, Road Dogg and Billy Gunn in their prime.
That makes sense.
Oh, you didn't know?
No, I didn't know.
Yo, beep, better call somebody. So, I fucking did. Fail. So, they were good in their prime. Watching them back now on the WWE Network for only $9.99. They're
Hashtag not spawn.
the thing about this era was there's so many better performers on the mic than actually in the ring. Like, the action was decent back then. It was mostly just hardcore matches and hitting people with chairs and giving people concussions. But the mic work and the storylines were superior to today's product. But the matches we're seeing today are better. And the storylines are just garbage. It's kind of funny how that flipped.
What if you put them together? Like, if the people who wrote it back then wrote for it now?
You know what's
It'd be
funny,
the
though?
best.
I think a lot of the same people do, though.
I think it also, you can't
Hire
write
Vince
with
Russo.
their writing.
Well, right.
You can't write with their writing now.
Yeah. Well, they play it so safe, too. Like, the content has to be kid-friendly, and it's like they can't do half the things. And I don't know. Everyone's just sensitive about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Content is way more wild, and yeah. Match of the year that year went to King of the Ring, The Undertaker and Mankind. So their infamous rivalry.
A slideshow even.
Oh, is it really? Yeah. So this is one of the most infamous moments and defining moments for Mick Foley, or a.k.a. Mankind here. If you're watching these slides, this is where he gets knocked out not once, but twice during the course of this about 15
the way
minute
he's
match.
standing in that clip right there, it looks like a video game from here.
It does look like a game.
Yeah,
That's real life, though.
when I went to save that image for a split second, I was like, wait, is that real?
That is real life.
Real?
I remember watching this, and I couldn't find the tape to this actual pay-per-view event. I'm a tape hunter. Behind me, I have quite the collection. And at this time, I was going from video store to video store and trying to buy tapes that they rent out. And some of the stuff they wouldn't sell to me because they're like, oh, it's still renting. Well, we're going to make more money off continuing renting this rather than selling it to you. And this was around the time, you didn't really have a full eBay or, other things to find things online. So the seller-to-seller thing just wasn't really safe.
Oh, hi, Kevin.
So when I finally got this match, it was part of the Mick Foley Greatest Hits and Misses collection. And I watched this match over and over again. And his commentary on it, how he basically didn't plan the spot and got knocked out cold on the cement that went through the table.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Came to, went and climbed back up on top of the cell, and they didn't plan for it to break. He got chokeslammed through the top of it, down all the way to the floor mat, while simultaneously having his chair hit him in the face, knocking his tooth through his nasal cavity. And then having people buy him time to come back to again and then continue the match, get thrown through thumbtacks, and finally multiple concussions, broken bones later, he completed the match.
I believe one of the injuries specifically listed was a dislocated jaw.
Dislocated jaw.
From when the chair hit him and knocked him out.
Yeah.
I learned a fun thing about this recently that I actually did not know myself. Again, until very recently. After the match, he was sitting in the back with Taker, and he looked at Taker and he's like, "Did I use the thumbtacks?"
He didn't know if he used the thumbtacks.
And Undertaker was like, "Mick, look at your damn arm."
He
And it
still
was
had
at that
tacks
point
in
that he
him.
was still covered in thumbtacks, stuck into him, and he was like, "Oh." And then this is one that I forgot about, is that after all of that, both of these guys come back out for the next match. Because the next match was Stone Cold versus Kane,
Yeah,
the
they
First
had
Blood,
spots.
which we're going to talk about later on in the list. But they both came back out the next match and did more stuff.
So a really cool thing, if you're a fan of Mick Foley, I highly recommend, if you have WWE Network, again for only $9.99, you go check
Hashtag not
out
sponsored.
his comedy special that he did regarding the 20 years of Hell in a Cell. It was a couple months ago when they were pitching that pay-per-view event. It's about an hour and a half long, but he talks a lot about the significance of this and things that molded his career based on this, and how he basically doesn't want to be the guy just known for this, but this defined his career.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really good watch. I'd elaborate more, but we have a limited amount of time. It did. This, if you think about the Attitude Era, this is one of those moments you think about immediately. So, Feud of the Year, of course, this is another one that defined the Attitude Era, that everyone that's a wrestling fan, young or old, will remember this. Feud of the Year, Vince McMahon, Stone Cold Steve Austin. One of the most iconic and memorable things of WWF during this time period, and still to this day.
He looks jacked as shit.
Which one? Vince?
Vince, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not even the biggest he was then.
No, he wasn't the biggest
No.
there. He was featured on like Muscle magazine and stuff too during this time period. And at this time, he was in his late 50s. Like, to be that jacked in your late 50s. Like, it's no wonder why he's still kicking right now.
He looks great for his age.
He does look great for his age. So here's an interesting one. Most popular wrestler of the year. Doesn't matter if you're a good guy or bad guy, heel or face. Clearly goes to Stone Cold Steve Austin. The most hated wrestler of the year, which I found rather fitting, was Hollywood Hogan. So at this point, the NWO had basically been going on for almost 2 years. And really, they're just kind of absorbing everyone if you'd watched WCW. And NWO just kind of sucked.
At this point,
Yeah.
At this point. Like, I don't agree with this. Hey, Rabbit, thanks for the cheers. Hip, hip.
Hooray for myself.
How many did you do there?
361.
Good
I just want to get
Lord,
the new
man.
badge.
Jesus Christ.
Man, money in my pocket,
Hey, go for it. What are you at now as a total?
1,000.
Even?
Yeah.
You just wanted that 1,000, you said?
Yeah.
That's funny. So there you go, guys. You got some comp. Catch up. Catch that rabbit. Hashtag that.
Yeah.
Anyways, comeback of the year. This is a wrestler that I never really liked, to be honest. He always seemed kind of skeezy to me. That is X-Pac. So
Yeah.
the reason he got comeback of the year is because he had jumped ship from WCW, being an NWO, and went and formed, or not formed, but joined the members of DX.
Degeneracion X-Men.
Who's, funny enough, still in matches as of most recently. Like last week.
Well, he didn't cash out the way the rest of them did.
Well, no, I'm saying DX is still in matches.
Oh, also
Xbox still on the indie scene. He's still doing stuff.
That's really sad because I don't know. I don't think he should be continuing to do that.
No. So what's up, TC? Welcome to the show. Most inspirational wrestler of the year. This is a guy that had won over 100 some odd matches without losing. That would be Goldberg.
Goldberg
is great. He was one of the reasons I watched WCW, to be honest.
Yeah, but his most recent run was not good.
No, not at all. He did it for his kid, which is fine. Lifetime Achievement Award this year went to Bobo Brazil.
we missed technically two.
Oh, Rookie of the Year also, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Let me circle back. Rookie of the Year went to Bill Goldberg as well. And Improved Wrestler of the Year, Booker T, who actually got some championship runs towards the end of WCW, which was nice to see. Well-deserving from his early days in Harlem Heat all the way to being a solo single star.
Hulk Hogan, I'm coming for you.
Yeah. His promos and...
Except for that one.
Yeah. Woo! I ain't talking about that one on air. That'll get us shut down real quick.
Real quick.
Editor's Award went to... Did we get Bobo Brazil in there for the Lifetime Achievement? So, Bobo Brazil, Lifetime Achievement. And the Editor's Award went to, rest in peace, Paul Bearer.
Rip.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
So he was great. Let's see.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. Let's talk about some title history. WCW World Heavyweight Championship in the year of 1998. The incoming champion was none other than the Stinger,
The Stinger.
a.k.a. the Crow Sting.
That's a crow. Yeah. The
His
only
worst
good
gimmick was the
Sting.
Joker Sting. Do you remember that?
Nope.
Yeah, he did that in,
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, he did that in TNA. It was just not good. If you get a chance, look up Joker Sting. Not good. The title was vacated on January 8th on Thunder due to a controversial ending from Starrcade in 1997. February 22nd at Super Brawl 8, Sting would go on to reclaim the belt that was ultimately taken from him.
In the screenshot, he's actually specifically asking J.J. Dillon, "Are you sure this time?"
Super Brawl 8 is where he won that. April 19th, Randy Savage would defeat him in a no disqualification match at Spring Stampede. So as you can see, help from others. He got by with a little help from his friends. On Nitro, the next night, April 20th, Hollywood Hogan,
Who's that dude in the plaid shirt?
Bret Hart.
Oh wow.
Yep. He had recently jumped ship over there at the end of 97, beginning of 98. We talked about that, and actually all the Good Culture 97. The Montreal Screwjob happened in late Survivor Series, actually, so 21 years ago, almost to the date.
So long ago.
Yeah, 21 years. So this episode is 20 years ago from us recording it right now. If you're watching in the future, if you're doing a recap on us doing a recap of things, because we're historical.
Or if you're watching in the past.
I don't think that's possible.
Eric, are you okay?
So Hogan won it on April 20th on Nitro. July 6th on Nitro. You're seeing a trend here with WCW too. Goldberg would win it back. We're not seeing a lot of title changes at pay-per-views. We're seeing them randomly on Nitro. He would hold it until Starrcade, December 27th against Kevin Nash. And this was possibly one of the worst title changes in history. Almost as much as the finger poke of doom. But this was the cattle prod. This is how Goldberg got defeated. His reign was ultimately ended by Kevin Nash and Scott Hall with the cattle prod. Yeah, that's... If you want to ruin someone or end someone's reign, do it, I guess, ceremoniously. Or at least with some sort of dignity.
Sanctimoniously.
But this was just... Why don't you just spit on him? Like, everything he did for WCW, he added so much to the product. Even though he was a one move of doom kind of guy and he wasn't overall an amazing wrestler, he brought so much intrigue into the WCW product, and this was just kind of shitty for them to do. But the problem was creative control and stuff in people's contracts that you got everyone with their egos trying to pull that card on everyone, and ultimately just you can't sign everyone that same contract. It would be like Rabbit and I both having complete creative control and just bitching out on something all the time. And it just creates a bad product. No communication and just...
Well, we don't communicate anyway, so, I mean, it doesn't matter.
Wow, okay.
Just kidding.
Rob, can you turn off his camera? Blinded by the light. Anyways, let's move on. WWF at the time. Get the F out. That wasn't yet, but... World Heavyweight Championship for that show. The incoming champion was the...
The sexy boy?
He thinks.
He thinks he's cute.
He knows he's sexy.
He's got the looks.
That drives all the rabbits wild. He's got the moves
Yeah.
that don't really move him.
That's really slow.
Anyway, incoming champion HBK. This would be the last little bit of his run in WWF, as he would eventually leave the company due to ongoing back injuries and other things and other issues in his life for 4 years. So we wouldn't see him for some time. He would drop the belt at WrestleMania 14 to Stone Cold Steve Austin, while Mike Tyson was the special outside enforcer. So you see the double cross there where he was wearing the DX shirt, but then turned ultimately on DX. So trying to make Stone Cold somewhat of a face heel. Again, there really no a feel. He was a feel. There were really no like defined
Feel.
faces or heels. There were, but they weren't. Because technically Stone Cold was a bad guy, but everyone loved him.
Basically, anybody who was worth watching in the Attitude Era was an anti-hero.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Actually, that's a very good point.
So Stone Cold would hold the belt until King of the Ring, which we talked about here in that first blood match. He would lose to Kane, who, fun fact here, this is Kane's one and only time as the WWF champion.
It's actually kind of a travesty if you think about it.
Yeah, that's kind of sad.
The real sad part is, yes, he won it here. The very next night on Raw, Stone Cold won it back and was renamed.
So one day.
One day. Kane has 1 day reign.
If you
Man.
look, that picture is actually the new title.
Yeah, the title was renamed the WWF Championship at this one.
That's crazy.
So from the WWF World Heavyweight to the WWF Championship.
Yeah, like Rob said, that's a travesty.
Yeah, 1 day.
Yeah.
The
You
belt
should have had it for longer.
was vacant on September 27th for the pay-per-view breakdown In Your House back in the 90s when all the pay-per-views besides the main four were called In Your House. It was a triple threat match involving Kane and The Undertaker. It was vacated until Survivor Series, where they had a tournament to determine the new champion. And the final two were Mankind and The Rock, having The Rock pick up the win here at Survivor Series for the championship, with the ultimate heel turn and true coming of his character.
The Rock.
Yes,
The corporate
Yeah.
champ.
the corporate champ. So he had moved away from the nation. He had moved away from the Die Rocky Die chants. He moved away from the goofy hair and then smiley gimmick that they tried to do with him in his first little bit. He had joined the heel, obviously, with the nation, and then he joined the corporation. And this truly was some of the best content. And the Do You Smell, all his little gestures, and basically becoming who The Rock would be known as. These were the defining months.
Yeah.
It also would lead into one of the most brutal matches I'd ever see 2 months after this one. The Royal Rumble 1999, which we'll get to in our Weekly Dosage 1999 episode. But again, I'll give you a little precursor to that. The most brutal match I've ever seen.
Is that the I Quit one?
It is the I Quit match, The Rock and Mankind, with over 18 chair shots to the face.
That is a lot.
Yeah,
chair
and
shots
I
to
mean,
the
we're
face.
talking baseball swing.
Yeah.
So
It's crazy.
Mankind would go on to win the belt from The Rock, and again, with their heated rivalry. This was on tape delay. The episode actually aired January 4th, but the match was done on December 29th. And a fun fact about this particular one, it was also the final shift in momentum for WCW and WWF for the Monday Night Wars. WCW at the beginning of their broadcast this night, because of tape delay, they knew the show. It had leaked out to them. So at the beginning of WCW Monday Nitro, they had announced, the announce team saying, hey, don't go over and watch the other show. Stay here. We got all this for you. The only thing that they're going to do over there is have some crappy champion of Mankind win the belt. You know, in their own words, obviously, they said different things, but they spoiled the main event of the show of Monday Night Raw, where Mankind would finally win his belt and get
I heard
his
that.
comeuppance. So
It's messed up.
And it completely
it
blew up
backfired.
in their
Yeah,
faces
it backfired
because
everyone
everybody
then
tuned in
changed
to
the
see
channel. When they thought it was just like, oh, okay, that's stupid. We'll continue watching. That was the last time from that WCW had any chance in the ratings, because after that, they never again won in the ratings war until they went under. So
Yeah.
they shot themselves in the foot with that. Fun facts for you.
Dumb asses.
So some other significant events that happened that year. On March 30th, Shawn Michaels left DX, X-Pac, and the New Age Outlaws joined and formed the main group of DX that had the longest running time together as a group. This was the night after WrestleMania. Again, that was the last time we saw HBK. Also that week, the WWF debuted its new scratch logo, which you can see behind there, shifting from the iconic early 90s logo. So that's when that had debuted.
When was that? Oh,
They used it from
2002.
1982, so the one on the top there, until
Yeah.
98. So 16 years.
Oh, to 98.
So obviously we still see very similar stylings to their logo. In 2002, they dropped the F from it, and then obviously became Entertainment, but they still
Yeah,
had the scratch
because
logo
of the
design.
damn World Wildlife Foundation.
Indeed.
I'm not going to go into it right now because
What?
it's pretty long-winded, but I actually read into exactly why that happened, like what brought the court case around and why ultimately Vince lost. And I thought it was kind of interesting. But the TLDR is that they had, for the 16 years that they had been cohabitating up to that point, a working agreement that Vince would not use it in specific markets, and then he went right ahead and did it. And the World Wildlife Fund was like, "Fuck you, dude. We had an agreement." And then ultimately, the other thing,
bro.
He probably thought he could win because he had money now.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and the other thing was that at that point, the Attitude Era had long since jumped off. And the World Wildlife Fund was basically like, we don't really want to be associated with this. And whenever people search for us, this is what they find.
Yeah.
And that's why you see all those WWF shirts
Well,
now
I
that
think-
are the pandas with the steel chairs.
I think a lot of it was with the shift in the .com movement too, and the online marketing. I think that's ultimately like, oh, we're coming up organically, like you said, for this. So I think that was a lot to do with it too. Some significant debuts that happened this year. Bobby Roode started training.
Look at that.
Oh,
That-
Jesus.
And
That picture.
one of my favorites of all time, easily top 5, Edge.
Oh, yeah.
Vastly underrated for a long time, and then when he finally was getting the recognition he deserved, psych, neck injury, never wrestle again. Okay, well, that's not totally fair.
Yeah.
He'd been recognized for a little bit at that point. He was up there for a hot minute, but in comparison to the rest of his overall career,
I'm not even mad that it took him a while to get there because the content that he was putting out there with Christian and the tag team rivalry with the Dudleys and the Hardys.
there was no better time for tag team wrestling than when Edge,
Like, I'm not
Christian, the
mad that
Dudleys,
he
and the
wasn't a
Hardys
main
were out
eventer doing
there.
that because he was putting on stuff probably better at that time that he was going to do than being solo. Because they did break off Christian and Edge for a little while, and while they had a pretty good feud, ultimately the content as them being a team was much better because of those other rivals.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. I love Edge.
it was great.
Yeah.
Still do.
I still love
do,
that in one of his most iconic matches. I was privileged enough to see that at WrestleMania 22. It was him versus Mick Foley in a basically a hardcore match, and he put him through the flaming table.
Oh, yeah.
And that was, I felt the heat when he lit that thing up. Like, it was awesome. But our next topic of the show here, we're going to talk about some video games that were released in the year that was 1998. Did you play any games in 98?
Lots of thems,
Yeah.
dudes.
Without looking at our list, what comes to mind?
I don't know what came out that year. I was playing a lot of stuff. Like, I was playing Ocarina. I was playing a lot of Tony Hanks.
Tony Hanks.
Tony Hanks prone scatters,
So I have a list here that I've compiled that, again, this is not a complete list because we don't have time for completes. Did you? If you want a complete list of things, a great source, Wikipedia. Often what we use for resources. So.
Wikipedia.
But some of the most significant games, in my opinion, are, starting with January 21st, Resident Evil 2. Which is
Good one.
coincidentally being remastered, remade here,
Yep.
coming out in January. So just a couple short months away for that.
I'm excited for that.
I am too, but $60, $70?
Wow, for the whole game?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Maybe not get
Yeah.
it then.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks good from everything I've seen, but
Yeah. My thoughts exactly.
But no, this one was great. They slightly improved the game mechanics. Visuals got an upgrade. The story definitely got more in depth. All around, this is the one that's more memorable to me than the first one. However, the first one is good. This one, again, is more memorable.
The most memorable one for me was Nemesis.
Nemesis was good, yeah. The third one.
It was the most memorable one for me because the Nemesis monster. The Nemesis monster.
So this was released both on the PlayStation 1 as well as the N64. Dreamcast and GameCube later on. The next game on the list here that I thought was pretty important was Final Fantasy Tactics.
I never got into the Tactics series.
Really?
Yeah.
Rob, I'm assuming you played Tactics.
Are you kidding me? Rob rubs
There you go. Next game
Tactics
is one
on
of his favorite
balls.
RPGs ever. Absolutely adore this game.
He rubs it on his wiener, the front tip of his wiener.
Sarah with a meh.
Can you guys hear me still?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we're having a live divorce on screen here.
On his
Okay.
birthday? That's fucked up.
On his birthday, jeez. It says no Final Fantasy 7, huh? Final Fantasy 7's good.
Trevor's just fueling the fire.
He says it's a good game. Anyway, our next one here, and it sucks that Andrew is not here to talk about it because she would ultimately be pretty stoked to hear this one. Put it on the list for her. I played it as well, but she loved this one. Vigilante 8. This was
is a fun
also released on the N64. I had a lot of fun in this game. I thought it's a clear ripoff of Twisted Metal, but the character design I thought was real fun. They have a beekeeper guy that you have swarms of bees that go get people.
I did like the bus though.
Bus is cool. I'm breaking your stuff, says Raymond.
You just can't beat the ice cream truck with a clown head.
It's Twisted Metal.
I know. I'm saying you can't beat it.
Oh, okay. I was confused. Sweet Tooth for the win, yeah.
Yeah.
So Vigilante 8 was good. They did a sequel to this. I think it was called like Second Offense or something. First one was better, but Twisted Metal by far was the better series.
Yeah.
Our next one on the list was released in June. Banjo-Kazooie.
Love this game, and I also love watching speedruns of this game.
This game is really good. Highly recommend if you have an Xbox One that you pick up Rare Replay. This is on here as well as the other Banjo games.
Or you can, get a good system.
What's that?
What?
I didn't hear you.
I know.
Oh.
You go on.
I think we had a language gap because I don't speak stupid.
Oh, sorry. I thought
Anyway,
you were speaking
Rare
it pretty well. My
Replay.
bad.
Rare Replay. Highly recommend that you get that. Great collection of games. Obviously, this being developed by Rare. Great platform, and it runs really good on the. It's not a remaster, but it just when it has a little bit more power behind it, it runs really well. So, highly recommend it if you haven't got a chance to playing it, and if you have a modern system. Next one on the list here, I played a ton of WWF Warzone. This was on
never played
PlayStation
this.
and N64.
This was the one where the moves were like Street Fighter combos, right? Like to body slam a dude, you would hit like down
Different
right
directions,
X.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was tough to control. Yeah.
I loved Street Fighter and games like that. And so I'm like, okay, I can get into this. And after about 2 hours of not being able to get into it, I was just done. I hated Warzone.
See, the thing that I enjoyed about this was the cheesy, like they stood in the entrance ramp, they had their one-liner, and then like waddled down the ring. They all had the same like builds, but then like they had the horribly done face that's supposed to resemble them. So all the character models were not great. But it was just such a welcoming, game. Did you ever play this one, Eric?
No, but I'm looking at pictures right now, and I sent Rob one.
Oh my god.
So the most fun that I had with this game, growing up, I played soccer, and one of the things I did was play on a select team, so you travel to play. We went down to Indianapolis for a tournament over a weekend.
In
and
this?
We got to,
In this game?
No, I played soccer, so we traveled.
Oh, I missed that. I was looking at pictures, and all I heard was we played in a league, and we went for a tournament. I'm like, you
No,
played
I'm not that
Warzone
good
in
at
a
this
tournament?
game. But we basically had like a whole hallway on the floor of rooms, the whole soccer team did, for the tournament. And the first night we got there, somebody had brought their Nintendo 64. And then we just like room hopped, and other people were playing this game too. And to me, that was the most memorable time to play this game because, you didn't have online back then. So unless you had a friend over, you didn't really get to play against people.
Yeah.
So to be able to jump around and see that other people were playing this game too, and like wrestling was big at this time, and just it was a cool like thing to be a part of. So for me, that's one of the most memorable things. So there you go. Yeah,
Rock.
yeah. Like I said, the character model is not good.
No.
But for me, that's the most memorable part of playing that game when I was younger. I think that's why I hold it in such high regard. Not because the game was, good or great, but just because of the memories of playing it.
Super good. That's the other one I sent him. Great character models.
You gotta go out.
They actually were.
You really gotta go out of your way to find this game and play it. Highly recommend it. Our next game on this list here, which basically launched a series of successful games, we have Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. I know you've played one of these
series. Oh yeah, I love the Tom Clancy, especially the Rainbow Six series.
Now you play Ghost Recon. You've played all of those, right?
Yeah, I missed a lot of Ghost Recons though.
What's the one you played for DNA? Wildlands?
Yeah, it was Wildlands. So much fun.
Yeah, I know
you can watch that on our YouTube channel.
There you go. What is it?
Dose of Nerd Acumen.
Search Dose of Nerd Acumen.
Do it.
Do it in the butt.
Yeah, you can look up our Ghost Recon Wildlands
A
video.
butt talk tonight. Anyways,
So the next one on the list is September 9th, Spyro the Dragon.
Which is really cool because next week we're getting a remaster of the trilogy of these games.
That's okay. I was going to say, you can cut me off, though.
Oh, I didn't know that you were going to leave with that. Or follow with that, rather.
You just cut me off, though, so it's okay.
I didn't know.
Go
you
ahead.
cared.
I'm listening now.
No, I'm done. That's all I got to say about that. It's really
All
cool.
right,
It's
bye,
happening
guys.
next week. That's Spyro. He's a dragon. He breathes fire. Go ahead, rabbit talk. That. Anyways, this was my favorite of the early games. Pokemon Yellow.
Yeah, dude, love this game. Wait. Yellow came out before Red and Blue?
No. No.
Then why is this sheet?
Because this was it came out before Red and Blue. Okay, here's the thing. Red and Blue
Here.
came out in Japan.
Yeah.
We talked about this before, yeah. Red and Blue came out in Japan.
Yeah,
This
I already
right
know
here
that.
came out in Japan, and then Red and Blue came out in US. The reason that this game was made was because of the
This
success
is
of the
Japan.
anime.
Okay, I read
Yeah.
this. I didn't read Japan. Got it.
He's
Got
highlighting
it.
as I speak. So the significance of this particular one is because Pikachu was super popular with the anime, and he follows you around basically in the game as one of your starters.
Yeah. Well, he is
so-
your starter.
Right. So they created this version of it. Again, that's why it's my favorite of them.
Yeah, sorry for the confusion. I couldn't find a decent resolution image for the Japanese cover art for some reason.
It looks fine.
So, this isn't the Japanese cover art.
Well, no.
Notice it's all in English. And I think that's part of why Eric was confused also. This is earlier on
yeah.
the list, and it's the English cover art.
Eh.
So I figured I'd rather have the wrong one look good than the right one look bad.
Eh.
Well, I think you should have the right one, period.
Moving on.
Yeah, why don't you have the right one? Your mother. You had one job.
You had one job.
218. That's how many jobs I had.
That's a lot of jobs.
218.
You're like Rob Jobs.
Rob job? What the fuck is a Rob job? I don't want one, though.
You don't know? You don't know what a Rob job is?
All right, I'm going to circle back real quick because Raven Knight says Spyro's trash. Why you got to hate? Why? Anyway,
What do you say?
he said Spyro's trash. I'm offended.
Oh. Well, that's just untrue and mean.
Yeah. Are you going to pick up the collection?
No.
No.
Well, not right away. I might pick it up later when it goes on sale, but
I was going to say it's going to be a bargain bin game. Unfortunately, I hate to say that. I don't see this selling as well as Crash did.
I don't see it selling as well as people think it's going to.
It's cool, it's nostalgic, but Crash Bandicoot was way more appealing.
Let's see. What do we got next? We got the next
Sarah's going
next
to
one
get
on the list is Resident Evil Director's Cut. What?
I said Sarah's going to get it. She put it in chat.
Oh, cool.
So we have one person excited for Spyro. So yes, Resident Evil Director's Cut, go on.
Dual Shock version.
So you're the I guess probably the most knowledgeable, potentially, of the Resident Evil franchise here.
What'd you say?
I said you're possibly the most knowledgeable or the most experienced with the franchise, or am I wrong with that? No? You just like 7. Is it just 7 that you like?
I've played a couple.
Oh, you made it seem like you were like really into this series. You just really like 7.
I like 7. I played 4 and didn't play 5 or 6 and really like 3. And played through the first 10 minutes of 1 about 3,600 times.
3,600 times?
Yeah.
Just the first 10 minutes?
Yeah, just over and over.
I had
just
the same
reset
problem
after 10
with
minutes.
Resident Evil 2, actually, because I could not wrap myself around the tank controls.
Tank controls are tough.
I would start it up, and I would start up as Leon almost every time, and be like, okay, I'm going to do it this time. This game looks awesome. I loved the director's cut of the first game. I'm going to do good. And then I would die, and I would get mad, and I would turn it off, and I wouldn't play it for weeks. And then I'd start over, and it would be the same fucking cycle. I have never made it anywhere significant in Resident Evil 2.
It's tough. Yeah. The tank controls, I think, are what is the most difficult part.
Yeah.
Well, never mind that. I thought you were the seasoned veteran on the Resident Evil franchise.
No, not really.
Raven said Dave is excited for it as well. I'm assuming in regards to the Spyro. Raven says 1 is great, but the controls are bad, but still love it. The games are great. 1, 2, and 3 are fantastic. Controls are tough.
You know what game I do like a lot, or games that I do like a lot?
What's that?
Pokemon Red and Blue.
Moving us along.
Yep.
So Pokemon Red and Blue here, released in North America. What were you, red or blue?
I think I got both, but I think I started with Red.
I had red.
Red all day.
What was your starter then, assuming Charizard or Charmander?
Actually, can't remember. I think
Back
at first
then
I picked Bulbasaur, actually.
Okay. That was actually a smarter tactical pick.
Bulbasaur?
Yeah.
Because I'm a very tactical player. You know, even at a young age, I'm just very, just don't want to horn my own toot and everything. So.
He said horning his own toot? What? He said horning his own toot.
Yep.
That's weird. Did you guys hear that?
You know what? Let's just move on so that we don't have to deal with the fallout of that joke.
Okay, bad segue here. Fallout 2 was released September 30th.
Horned my own Fallout toot.
So I did not play this one. We talked about this previously with the other Fallout game. I did not get into the franchise until Fallout 3. So.
I didn't. Even at 3, like, I played it a little bit, but I didn't really get into it.
Man, I played the ever-loving shit out of 3, and then I played probably 2 hours of New Vegas and never even put 4 in the system.
I have yet to play 4 as well.
I am just incredibly saddened by both of you right now. 4 was awesome.
Okay.
You know what game I did put a shit ton of hours into as well, though, in this franchise? Was
Star
Fallout
Wars
Shelter.
Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Really? Shelter.
Well, because Shelter was
What did
like
he say?
it. Shelter was like, hey, Fallout 4 is coming out. Play this game. It's related.
Yeah,
and then it turned out
Shelter.
to not be.
No, it's not.
Not even kind of.
So, speaking of Fallout, super excited. Next week, Wednesday, Fallout 76 is coming out. And Sarah and I are no longer going to talk to any of you because we're going to be playing that.
Playing what?
Fallout 76.
Oh. So we'll see you guys in like a month and a half for the next weekly dosage.
Sarah got a brand new system for it. The new quietly released PS Pro 2.0. Did you hear about that?
Wait, did that really happen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sony put out a new PS Pro.
Why?
Because it's quieter and runs better than the Pro.
Okay, man.
Yeah, they quietly put that out in the last couple weeks.
They don't need it, but that's okay.
Yeah, it runs 76% or something like that quieter.
Jesus.
Mine's been running for like the past 2 hours, and I don't hear it at all.
Speaking of hearing it, though, I was listening back to our episode we did a year ago for World War II.
Oh God.
You commented multiple times that it sounded like an airplane trying to take off.
That was my original PlayStation.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Your
Oh.
original PS4. The thing was loud as hell.
Yeah, it sounded like.
Yeah, I hated my white one because it was so loud. It was bad. And you could hear it through the stream, too, if you listen back to that show. Holy balls, Sarah. Bulk of text.
Nightbot, get her.
Right? Knob so silent, Bib says, mine gets loud as shit sometimes, but not like always.
The next game on our list I did actually play a crap ton of. Metal Gear.
So
Yeah.
fun story about Almost with the
Yeah.
PS Classic coming
What's
out. We are going to feature this on an episode. I'm going to circle back and do this game, damn it.
Metal Gear Solid.
Yes.
I
I
played
remember
this
getting
a
this as
lot.
a Christmas gift.
You know, I downloaded that. When we did that episode and it wasn't working correctly, I downloaded the PC thing for it, and we never even tried to boot it. We just sat there and played the NES game instead. And you all watched me fail horribly at it.
Yeah, that was rough.
Actually, the worst part is you failed way worse than I did.
I did not do well at it, but I said I never really played this one.
Well,
this was the Metal Gear I played.
No, that's fair to a degree. I never played any of them. You guys watched me play Metal Gear Solid, or just Metal Gear was the NES one,
It was just
right?
Metal Gear.
Yeah, you guys watched me play Metal Gear for the first time ever and get stuck at that stupid truck for half an hour because I
So
couldn't figure
Rabbit
out
and
where to
I,
go.
we're gonna bring this up as a dosage because we probably both have a lot to say about this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just yeah.
I mean,
Okay, well, in a future episode of the Weekly Dosage, you will see Metal Gear Solid, and
This one.
This one, yes,
Yeah.
this particular one, and Rabbit and I will go in depth about what our thoughts and opinions are, because I'm sure we both have a lot to talk about. But
Kevin, you
easily,
bite your tongue.
my favorite game that was released in 1998 is right here. Talked about Crash Bandicoot a little bit. Crash Bandicoot Warped came out this year. Fond memories of that one.
I've never really played Crash.
What?
Not like a lot. I've played it. To
See,
know
that
what it
strikes me
is.
as odd because I feel like you'd be the person
I didn't
that
have.
benefit.
I didn't have a PlayStation. I didn't own a PlayStation.
Oh man, because I feel you'd be a person that benefit being your interest in speedrunning. This would be
Yeah, my interest in speedrunning didn't come to fruition until like 2015.
well, sure, but I'm saying with the re-release, these would be ones that you should try to get good at.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Never
Metal
interested
Gear
me.
Solid Waste. Who said that?
Kevin.
Kevin, you can go away.
So, this next game is actually one that I didn't. Speaking of things that weren't discovered until like 2015, I was very much aware of the franchise, but never played any of these games until somebody gifted me this one on Steam. Wait, no, I lied. They gifted me Half-Life 2, so I went back to play this one.
Half-Life. I never played Half-Life, the first one.
I didn't play the first one either. I just played the second one.
I played
And the
several
third
hours.
one.
There is no third one.
Whoa, no! I played several hours of 2, and I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm missing things, so I went back and played the first one.
I enjoyed the second one. The only reason I was exposed to it is because the orange box.
Yeah.
Which also exposed everyone to Portal.
Oh my god, Portal.
Super
so good.
thankful for that.
So good.
But speaking of things that did actually have a third game,
Tomb Raider 3.
I feel like that's
Yes.
really all we need to say about that.
This is the beginning of the real decline of that franchise for me.
Yeah, it was on the way down from this point forward until the reboot, really.
Yep.
Ooh, let's
There was a
move on.
revolution that had a Dance Dance
Oh,
revolution.
I was gonna say let's move on to this one because I have a bunch. I have things to say about it.
Go for it.
It's good.
It
I used to
is.
play the shit out of DDR and DDR Extreme in the arcade.
Yep.
Back when I was actually fit and could actually move, I would do shit on it. Was it heavy?
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what we should do? We should try to go to a pawn shop and find the old pads. And
Nope.
actually, no, you don't want to do an episode?
Not
No, I'll
doing
tell
those
you what-
pads.
I'll tell you
can
what
go
we
to
could
like
do
a
instead.
arcade place. I'm not doing it on those pads though.
No,
Go
no,
to an
no.
arcade?
Screw that.
Yeah, we can go to an
my buddy
arcade and,
Anthony
like, stream from
owns
our
a company
phones, but I'm not
based
using
on
those pads.
these games.
Rhythm games.
Yeah,
Would any of you want to see DNA do DDR?
that's what we should have done while we were at Matsuri-Con, to sneak off to the Tokyo Attack Room. They had like 4 DDR cabinets there.
Missed opportunity.
Next year at
I've talked
MatsuriCon
multiple-
2019.
That would have got us some
I've
views.
talked multiple times to Anthony about buying a cabinet of my own. Although I was talking about buying that Police 911 game that used to be at Pinball Pete's.
Yeah.
I love that game. And he's like, dude,
Oh,
that game's
Tokyo
junk. And
911.
I'm like, you shut your whore mouth.
The only thing I want from there is their South Park pinball.
$800 though.
not
That's so
bad.
cheap.
Not bad.
I just don't have anywhere to put it, or I'd own one now.
Your other problem is maintenance on those things.
That's why I know people.
Yeah. There was another small game that came out this
Yeah,
year,
just a
Yeah,
little tiny
just
one.
which most people find as their favorite of this franchise. I'm in major disagreement. I don't think it's the best.
I think it's rose-colored glasses.
Hold on.
I still adore
What
this
you
game.
said, what you said is different than what you. The two things you said are different. You said some people say that it's their favorite, but I don't think it's the best. But being
Sure.
their favorite
Well,
doesn't
I mean,
mean
one
it's
of
the
the
best.
people often associate best and favorite as one and the same sometimes.
Yeah.
I guess that's a misconception, but usually they would say their best and favorite is the same. Anyways,
This one is my favorite, but the best one I think is the most recent one.
really
Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
I can see that.
okay.
I was a huge fan of Skyward Sword once it actually got moving. The story in Skyward Sword was great.
Yeah. Ocarina is definitely probably 3 for me. It was 2 until, like you said, Breath of the Wild. But nothing will top Link to the Past to me.
Link to the Past is really high up there, but
Link Between Worlds is really good too for the 3DS, but since it's such a retelling of Link to the Past, I put it further down my
a
list.
whole new game mechanic. But we can
It's a
argue about
whole-
that another
yeah.
time. Wind Waker, for me, is the surprise one. Wind Waker stands tall to this day as one of the best in the franchise. In my
I think it would
opinion.
round out my top 5.
Love Wind
Ocarina's
Waker.
good, though. Majora is hard as shit.
Hate Majora's Mask.
I don't hate it. But
It's the
hard.
second from bottom for me. The only game worse than it is Zelda 2.
Zelda 2 is hot garbage. That game is so bad.
Yes, I had to Google translate it because I feel like you were saying it wrong. It's Ocarina. So I sent Rob the link of of the pronunciation of it.
I would
Just-
just have said Ocarina time.
I know.
Yeah, everybody says it like that
Just
for some reason.
the only reason why I bring it up is because I was playing with my buddy Joe. I can't remember where we were playing or something. Oh, we were playing League, and he kept saying he always says melee, and it drives me up the wall.
Oh, Melee? No, that's wrong.
Yeah. So every time I hear something that sounds different, I have to look it up to see.
No, I know most people pronounce it that way. It's just how I am. It's just like Shayna Baszler.
Basla.
Zelda 2 is the best. Get good scrubs.
I don't know how to
is
say this.
rating it. Go. No. What is
Kim-
with you trolls?
Kim Basinger? Bassinger?
What is with the trolls tonight? So, honestly, the only thing I hated about Majora was the time reset. I mean, that was the main point of the story, so you just pretty much hated the story. Anyways, our next one, not a great game, but it was a hell of a fun game.
It was so much fun. Didn't this come out for the N64 too?
It did, and I could not stand the N64 version.
Why?
Yeah, I loved it.
I
Controls,
put in more time on the
Controls.
64 version. It played just like GoldenEye.
but it wasn't GoldenEye. I could have been playing GoldenEye, which would have been a way better use of my time.
No, in GoldenEye you can't
You can
turn
play-
a snowball
you can play
into
them
a piss
both.
snowball. This game was great. I still remember the cheat code to unlock all the characters and levels and infinite health. Depending on the console, it was either Z Bobby Bird or Bobby Bird. Unlocked everything.
This game was so much fun.
This game is great.
Piss snowballs. That's all I have to say, man.
Yeah, piss snowballs. The alien zapper were made
First
sing. I love to sing it.
person.
About the
About
moon
the
and
moon
the June
and
and the spring.
Yeah,
Fucking awesome.
it was great.
If you
And
hate
then-
this,
Clap Frog.
go do something else with your life.
Yeah. Like play it again.
So closing out the year for gaming, we wanted to go on an adventure, and we went on a Sonic adventure.
Oh, funny.
It's not on your list, apparently. Anyways, that was on the Dreamcast.
Whoops.
No?
Do we not have the picture for Sonic?
No, we can move on, though. Sonic Adventure was a game that happened. A lot of fun.
Yes, it was good. Actually, it was it in a lot of ways it's one of my favorite Sonics because it's the one that I actually started with. When I was younger, I didn't play the originals.
Oh, man.
So I got into them late.
This is the one that got me back into Sonic because they had a lot of bad ones, most notably Sonic Spinball being the worst Sonic game of all time.
Hmm.
Happy birthday, Rob. Sonic Spinball
Not
is
dignifying that hot garbage statement.
trash. It's fucking trash.
Hey, Rob, can you hear me?
Yeah, he can hear you.
Unfortunately.
I need to go take a hot deuce. So if you want to move your picture, you're going to
Oh,
move
wow.
real quick. I've been holding it in, man. I told Rob, he was like, after gaming. I'm like, all right, cool.
All right. Have fun.
Thanks.
Hey, there's a rabbit or rabbids. So we're going to close out the year in gaming with Nintendo's Game Boy Camera and Game Boy Color handheld is released. Did you ever have either of these things?
I got a Game Boy camera at some point, but I never had the printer.
Oh, that's right. You had to have a damn printer for it, too.
Yeah, otherwise it was pointless.
Yeah. I never had the camera. I have my colors still sitting on my shelf over there.
I think the Game Boy Color is one of the few I don't actually have.
Mm-hmm.
I might be mistaken. I might be thinking of the Pocket. One of the two of those I never got, but I have the other of those two.
Yeah, the color was the first one I got after the original, which I think is technically the release of them, the release order. I could be wrong, though. So, Sega Dreamcast is an internet-ready home console released in Japan, and later in 1999 was released in the U.S., specifically 99.99.
I remember that, actually.
Mm-hmm. That's not in my notes here. I just remember that because I wanted this system so bad.
The ad campaigns for this were weird, and at the time I thought they were one of the weirdest things. My mic is muted, so I'm talking to basically just you. The ads for this were like the dream ones, where it was like it's thinking or like dreams
like
inside or whatever, and like
which
it
was ultimately
always whispering.
they,
It was super weird.
Well, it was a segue out of the twisted, creepy bald guy ads of the Saturn. You remember that?
No, I actually missed the entire ad campaign for that.
Look up ad campaigns for the Sega Saturn if you get a chance. There's a lot of super creepy ads for that.
But I feel
bald
like
guy.
the ad campaign for the Dreamcast definitely paved the way for the insanely bizarre PlayStation 3 ad campaign. The PS3 ad campaigns were completely unhinged. It would be just like this empty room and a baby doll, and then it would just start crying black.
Oh God!
And then it would like zoom in really fast, and it was just PlayStation, and that was it. That was the whole ad.
You're like, what the hell?
They were insane.
So I really wanted a Dreamcast. I got to borrow one multiple times from my neighbor, Eric, that I grew up with, and I wanted one. I never got one until years later. I had lent it
I have
to
3.
someone. You have 3. I had lent my first Dreamcast to someone, and things went sour, and I never fucking got it back. Super bummed about that because I had like games, controllers, everything. So I had to find pawn shops and other things later on to get it back. And I finally had my Dreamcast again and the games I wanted, which I'm happy about. But I was super sad for many years because I was like, I'm never gonna find a Dreamcast again. At least not for a price that I'm willing to pay.
I had the
For
same
a while
problem.
they were expensive.
I had the same problem with the Saturn
Saturn
when
was
I
tough to find
went
for a while.
hunting for my Saturn.
I had a Saturn for a good 15 years. Enjoyed it. And speaking of the Saturn, the Sega Saturn was ultimately discontinued in 1998 in the U.S. and Europe. But that basically rounds out 98 in gaming. This was
Almost.
Oh, you want to add one more?
I don't. So like I asked Travis about this when we
never
went into this.
heard of this game.
And he was like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, dude, this definitely came out in 1998. I can't believe this wasn't on the list." And then he was like, "I don't give a hot crap about that series." And I was like, "Okay, that's fair for you, but for the rest of the world, like say Korea, this was a huge release in 1998."
What's StarCraft?
It's like Warcraft,
where you
but
build
in
a boat?
space.
Starkly.
StarCraft?
Yeah, it's like a very low-key raft, but it's in space.
Never heard of it. Doesn't ring a bell. Raven says I own this. Was the first Sega console I owned. Traded it to fix my PC. So they have.
Ouch.
So moving on, our next topic of the show. Television.
I don't know where we're at. Okay.
Right. So the significance of this year, the price is right rather.
Jesus.
5,000th episode.
Here.
Could you imagine doing 5,000 episodes of a show?
So many.
That's a lot of many.
I don't know if we're going to
Well, they
live long
every day-
enough to do 5,000 episodes of this show.
We
I
gotta
don't-
keep in mind that they filmed those episodes back to back to back to back.
Well, yeah, they did multiple in a day and they aired it throughout the week. And they just kept piling up
98,
shows.
that was the 5,000th show.
5,000th show.
So it's probably up in the 10,000s right now.
Oh, easily, if not beyond that. Could you
Did the
imagine
Google-
celebrating the 5,000th episode of the Weekly Dosage? How old would be? Because what would that be? There's 50, 52, 53 in a year. Times that by 100. We wouldn't live to do 5,000.
There's over 8,000.
There's over 8,000. That's insane.
Yeah.
So on that particular show, every pricing game is played for a car. Something Price has only done once before. Has been repeated only once since then. At the beginning of the show, they announced they had renamed Studio 33, the studio at CBS Television City, where the Price is Right is taped since 1972 return. Bob Barker Studios is the new name in honor of the show's then host and executive producer. So, fun historical fact there. Here are some shows that debuted this particular year. Some of the ones that we may have watched, you may have watched, or none of us. WCW Thunder.
Watched.
One of the most notable things on that particular show is when David Arquette won the WCW Heavyweight Championship. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Watching about that recently.
Yeah, because that
that's-
was covered in the Monday Night War
Wars,
documentary.
Yeah. Another show that a lot of people watch that I kind of didn't. I didn't watch back then,
I've
but
never
because
seen.
of my wife, I got to dabble in it. Dawson's Creek. Did any of you watch that?
Nope.
No.
I know it was super popular, so I had to include it on here. Show that Rabbit watched religiously.
What do you mean
See?
watched?
Super-
Like he doesn't still watch it now.
Oh, he so does.
My favorite is Tinky Winky.
I don't know any of the characters.
La la.
Sarah doesn't get why Dawson's Creek was so popular. A show that I definitely watched, and I would love to find on DVD somewhere. Celebrity Deathmatch. Do you remember this one?
I do.
I loved
love
this
Celebrity
show,
Deathmatch.
and it was so bad.
It was pretty bad, but it was good at the same time. What was it? 3 matches in 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Like
Trying
each
to think
little-
of the main character in Dawson's Creek now, the guy.
the main guy?
Yeah. James.
Oh, Vanderbeek?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, call off your dog,
guy.
Dawson.
I loved in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back where they recast it, or they
James
James
Vanderbeek is
Vanderbeek was,
Jay, and the pie fucker.
yeah, the pie fucker. That's what they call it.
What's his name? I can't remember his name.
Oh, Jason Biggs.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, yeah,
I kept
yeah.
wanting to say Jason Bateman, and I knew that wasn't right.
Speaking of Jason Bateman, you guys should watch Ozark. Just saying, we can move on.
Plug.
Plug. On Netflix.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Yeah, staying on spot. You got to remember that. Our next one
you ever watch
is
this one?
The Challenge,
The
which is a spin-off of The Road Rules.
Road Rules Challenge.
Yeah. Did you ever watch those shows?
I did up until a point, and then I stopped.
I caught them every now and then. I wasn't like I had to tune in every episode or anything like that.
No, I watched them when they were on rerun.
Yeah.
Ozark is dope, Kevin. It's so good. If you haven't watched it, seriously. Like, I don't even care if it's a plug. Just watch it. It's good.
I'm still catching up on Arrow. I almost caught up on Riverdale. I don't know
you
that one
catch
either.
up faster. Oh, you should watch this season. It's really good. Anyway.
I don't have time, man. Time.
I convinced one of my coworkers to watch Arrow, and then I was like, okay, but we have to watch The Flash too because they cross over, and that's the only reason I was ever any kind of caught up in either show. Because we were watching it every day at work.
I'm just gonna kind of have it on the background or something because I don't know. It's not a good show. Next show here was super popular with people. I never watched, I don't think, a single episode of it. Sex in the City.
I've never watched it.
I remember at age 13 when this was
So
on
big
TV, I was like,
area.
oh, it has sex in there. I'm intrigued. What's happening? But I don't think I ever watched it. Our next one, I know you guys probably watched. Oh, yeah, cartoons.
Maybe.
So
I don't
here's
know
a
if I
really
remember
interesting
Oyek
fact
cartoon,
about
or like just the name.
this old man. I had never even heard of this until it was on the list. I had no idea what this was when I saw it on the list.
Like Angry Beavers, or am I just...
It includes Danny Phantom, I think, or no, Fairly Odd Parents.
Yep.
Are all spin-offs. Chalk Zone, My Life as a Teenage Robot. It was like a
I've seen so much fan art from all of the shows in this, but I had never heard it called Oh Yeah Cartoons. I never saw ads for it. I never watched
Well,
any
that was
of
the
it.
original branding for it. Because you always had the commercials. Oh, yeah, cartoons. Like, that was like a big... I don't know. I was a big Nickelodeon fan during the 90s.
I loved the Nickelodeon. I loved Nickelodeon when I was younger too.
There is being made a documentary, the Orange documentary, regarding Nickelodeon coming out, or again is out. I can't remember, but definitely something worth watching or checking out.
What was your favorite cartoon in the '90s from Nickelodeon? I know it's difficult.
It is difficult. I don't know.
I can. I think mine would have to be Hey Arnold or Angry Beavers.
Yeah, I definitely watched those two the most out of anything else. Definitely Hey Arnold. That was a really good show.
Move it, football head.
Yep. So iconic.
What's the one thing you remember the most about it? Because there's one thing that every time I think of Hey Arnold, I think of Stoop Kid every time.
I think of them playing baseball between the buildings in the vacant lot.
Yeah, and then I also remember the one part where Hey Arnold was singing like "I'm crazy, stop me!" Like he's all dancing crazy, like hitting himself with trash can lids.
What was this? His uncle or his grandpa that he lived with?
Grandpa.
His grandparents. Okay. Because I always remember him going to him for advice, and then his friends always showing up.
Yeah.
It seemed like a fleshed out cartoon.
His name was Steely Phil. That's his grandpa's name.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all.
I just had to look it up. Not that I was looking up his name, but
I just remember them seeming old as hell. Another thing that I watched a lot of was Whose Line Is It Anyway?
yeah.
Improv comedy show.
If you watch the unedited bloopers of these, they're really funny.
Oh, I bet. I always wonder what makes the show and what can't be said.
Yeah.
Because with improv, you never know what comes to your mind. You're trying to be fast. A show that I really loved, which is crazy that it's 20 years old at this point, was That 70s Show. It made its debut on television this year.
What did you say?
That
Oh, yeah.
70s Show.
I have not seen all of it. I've seen a lot of episodes.
Oh, man.
Quickly.
this is one you should. It's on Netflix. You really should watch. The only bad season was the last season, just because they were losing pretty much most of their cast members to other things.
Yeah.
Which is ultimately why the show ended. But the rest of the series is really good. They even tried to capitalize on the success of this, and they did
That
one
80s show?
season. Yeah, that 80s show.
Didn't work.
Which, no, it was not good.
Oh, it bombed.
Yeah, it bombed hard.
Wasn't Fez the only one that came back?
I don't think anyone came back. I think it was a whole new cast.
There's a whole new cast. There might have been some.
I think
random-
they had at one point, because the ratings were in the garbage can. They had a cameo
something?
appearance
Yeah.
from somebody, but
Yeah, I don't know, because I just remember it being terrible. I don't think I made it through the whole season before it got canceled. So closing out for television, this show I watched a lot of, and it actually got remade, from my understanding, recently. Did you flip me?
I did.
Why?
Because every time you look this way,
Oh.
you're looking at the outside of the frame before.
Oh, weird. Okay. Powerpuff Girls.
I love the Powerpuff Girls. I have a T-shirt, Travis. It is the big picture in the middle is Big Daddy from BioShock, and then the little sisters are the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, that's fun. Where'd you get
Yeah.
that shirt?
T Fury.
Okay.
T-Fury.com. The one that Rob and Sarah keep
You
posting.
guys keep pimping out.
Yeah.
They have a lot of cool design. I was to say they have a lot of cool designs.
90% of
they're
them, though,
all
I would
very
much
much
rather have as a
like,
poster than a shirt.
Yeah, I could see that. Our next topic of the show here is film. We're going to talk about the top 10 grossing films that year, and then some notable entries that came out, as well as debuts or debuts.
Debuts.
So I can probably safely say I've seen most, if not all of these. Let's see, because we commonly have this utter shock with, most notably you, Rabbit, and what we've seen and what we haven't seen. But the number one grossing film that year was Armageddon. So not much of a disaster there, because it made a lot of money.
Seen it.
You definitely seen it. The soundtrack, so iconic. Don't want to miss a thing with Aerosmith.
Oh, there's definitely
Absolutely
one on here
abhor
you're
that
gonna
song.
Be pissed about.
And just, yeah, I don't like the song now. I have reasons. But
Same Z's.
fantastic film, even to this day. And Sarah says, I've never liked Armageddon.
Hey, I said I never much liked it. I don't hate it.
There's always one in the bunch.
I always prefer
You're
Deep
right,
Impact.
Travis.
Me too.
That's what she said.
Zing.
Those both came out like the same year within.
Listen to me. I'm in the show.
Listen to
What?
Rabbit, he's talking.
I've been talking, but you guys are talking over me.
What's that feel like?
They came out the same year.
Yeah, we're going to get to it.
Somebody can speak. I can't hear them.
Our second film here, number 2, Saving Privates Ryan.
I love this.
Ryan's
movie.
Private. This film is so good.
Yeah.
The opening sequence, guy losing his leg, just
All-
getting blown up. Like, just, it's such a good film. Surprise, surprise, Tom
Okay.
Hanks involved. There's not much that I hate of Tom Hanks.
Sarah just said she's never seen it.
We need DNA movie nights, damn it.
I could watch. There was a point where this movie was on like cable, like every other day, and I watched it every single time.
They showed this on cable?
It was either on cable or when I had HBO or something, but it was on
Okay.
all.
I was to say, they had to condense it.
When I had cable. But yeah,
Right.
The movie
You're gonna be-
probably play it occasionally.
you're gonna be mad about one movie on this list, by the way, that I haven't seen.
Cable or
Okay.
Showtime,
I'm
so-
trying to, I bet you it's the next one.
No, I actually did see that one.
Okay. I'm curious then what it is.
Can you guess it? I know, I know
When
it.
we come up to it, if I think I know what it is, I'll say before we.
Okay.
So it's not the next one.
No.
The next one, number 3 on this top 10, is Godzilla, which a lot of people hate on this movie. I really liked it. I liked another one that I like the soundtrack of.
Yeah, I can't stand the movie. I think it's hot garbage, but I
No.
love the soundtrack.
The movie is surprisingly good. It's not a good Godzilla movie, but it is a good movie.
What was the big?
I'm
What's
sorry,
the
I
big
can't agree
song on
with
this by like P Diddy or something?
Yeah,
Yeah,
come,
P.
come
Diddy.
with me.
Come
Puff
With
Daddy.
Me, which is sampled from Led Zeppelin.
Not even sampled technically, because he actually got Jimmy Page to play the guitar riff on the track.
Okay, fun fact. But still,
He's in the music video too, no less.
still Zeppelin.
Well, yeah. No, it's definitely. Some boots just flew at me, and I got scared for a minute. It's definitely a Zeppelin tune, and it's completely fair to assume it was sampled, but it was actually recorded for it. Jimmy Page actually played it. I was surprised to learn that myself.
Yeah, see? Yeah,
It's actually on 2 of my playlists for music I listen to at work.
Travis, do you like Led Zeppelin?
Yeah.
Have you ever listened to Greta Van Fleet?
Yeah, that's the biggest comparison everyone makes. It's
Yeah.
the new Zeppelin.
There was a reason, like, I didn't listen to them at all because I was like, oh, God, just another rip-off band. But actually listen
They're
to
good.
songs, and they're actually really good.
Yeah.
As-
There's been many that have tried, but I think they're the one that closely resembles.
It's the voice that makes it most close.
Yeah, most definitely. I oftentimes think, I'm like, is this like a classic rock band? Like I'm listening to a band of a different era. That's how well they do that genre.
Yeah. And just to ease your mind, I did in fact see this next one.
Yeah, this was not going to be my guess. So, there's Something About Mary came in at number 4 this year. This movie's funny.
I really
think-
like it, but it's just because it's funny, and it's not like a amazing movie, but it's really
not amazing. It's funny. The sequence that everyone will remember and quote is the hair gel.
Mhm.
That's the most notable thing from this. I think
This is the
biggest takeaway.
only movie. Every time I think of Chris Elliott, do you know who Chris Elliott is? He's the guy who plays in the Scary Movie 2. He's a guy who's like, "That's my strong hand."
Oh yeah.
This is
I'm better
he,
with faces than names. So
he plays like the creepy dude with the weird face acne in this.
okay, he's funny though.
Yeah, no, he is. Fun fact: father of what's her name from SNL, Abby Elliott.
Okay.
Yeah.
So coming in at number 5, and this is my guess on the one that you haven't
You would
seen.
be incorrect.
I am correct.
No, incorrect.
Oh, really? Oh.
This is a great movie too. I love this movie.
I have a second one then. It comes later on in the list.
Okay.
So, this was my first guess.
Actually,
A
there's
Bug's
2
Life.
on here, but one of them I don't think would be such of a surprise.
It's Shakespeare in Love. You haven't seen.
That's the one that shouldn't be that much of a surprise.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was saying. I don't see you as going to watch that. Bug's Life is really cool. Talking about Animal Kingdom earlier on this episode that they opened at Disney. They actually have some feature stuff in Animal Kingdom. I don't know if it's still there, but last time I was in Disney, some Bug's Life stuff.
It was like the big Bugs Life, like big trees and stuff that are around, and it's like a
Yeah, they have like an underground thing that you can go through near the tree. They have like a show and everything. Real cool stuff. Our next one here, which we were talking about earlier, which Sarah prefers and Rob prefers, they prefer a Deep Impact.
Oh,
deeper impact with Jenna McCarthy.
So, is that a porn?
I don't know. It should be.
Disney's streaming service will be called Disney Plus. Didn't they learn from Google? You know, you make fun, but I bet it does well. Because everything that you adore on Netflix right now, including all the Marvel movies and all these shows, most notably the ones that are getting canceled left and right, they're going to relaunch and reboot on their own streaming service. So, make fun now, but Disney owns the world, hence Disney World.
Yeah.
Number 7 here, Mulan. Speaking of Disney.
Yeah. By
That's
the
not
way,
Mulan.
why did you not go to Mulan? Where is Mulan?
You broke Mulan.
I did break it. I'm so sorry.
That's fine. We know Mulan. Number 8 here, of course.
No, go back to Mulan because that's the one I haven't seen.
Oh, really? Oh, I was going to guess Dr. Dolittle.
No, I've seen Dr. Dolittle a lot. No, I haven't actually seen Mulan, but I know a lot of the songs and stuff from it. I just never actually saw it when I was a kid, so it took me a while to. If I missed a Disney movie when I was a kid, there's a good chance I haven't seen it as an adult. Like, I don't think Ferngully's Disney, but it's an animated movie.
Oh, Ferngully. Just go watch it already, Eric.
Nope.
God damn it.
Nope. Yeah, but I have yet to
We're
see
going to
Mulan.
strap you to a chair and tape your eyes open to make you watch it.
No, don't. Don't whatever orange movie that is me.
Clockwork Orange?
Clockwork Orange. Don't Clockwork Orange me. Have you seen Clockwork Orange?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
I have Clockwork Orange. It's a good movie.
It is.
So for those playing the home game, OBS does this fantastic thing where if the fucking file name is JPG capitalized instead of JPG lowercase, it'll just dump it out of the fucking scene.
Those playing the home game don't care.
Moving on. Number 9 here. We did Shakespeare, or Dr. Dolittle was number 8. Shakespeare in Love is number 9.
Yeah.
Don't care. And Lethal Weapon 4 is number 10. Don't care.
Shakespeare
Actually,
was
another one
pretty good. I
didn't
liked
see
that.
because I didn't want to.
We're going to run through some notable films here. Stop me if you want to talk about it. There's a lot here to showcase. So it looks like you did a full overlay of this, which I'm kind of glad you did.
It didn't move.
There we go. So notable films that came out this year. We have Half Baked.
Amazing.
Really good film. Spice World. I saw that in theaters.
Watched a ton of it.
Speaking of Spice World, they are getting back together, all but one.
Yep, and they're only doing the tour in UK right now.
I heard there was a Chicago show booked.
No, I did see something about a Chicago show.
Maybe they just added it then, because I heard on the radio like 2 days ago that it was only UK. So they might have changed.
The Wedding Singer, one of his best. The Big Lebowski.
I've only seen, so I think I've seen The Big Lebowski. I think I've seen all of it, but if I have, it's been in parts. I've never actually actively sat down and watched the whole thing because every time I caught it, it was like at Desi's house or at a friend's house, and it was somewhere in the middle.
You should check it out. It's really good.
I hear, yeah. I want to watch the whole thing.
Man in the Iron Mask, not my favorite.
I actually didn't see this, but I didn't really want to. So
Wild Things. This one has a notable scene that everyone remembers. Three Ninjas High Noon at Mega Mountain.
didn't watch it. Didn't want to.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Another one I need to actually see.
That one's really good.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Jim Carrey films, The Truman Show.
Oh,
So
it's a
good.
good one.
Can't Hardly Wait.
Love this movie.
The X-Files film, which was pretty good.
See, it wasn't really into X-Files.
Oh, see, I love X-Files. The film was really well done. Small Soldiers. That's
This
a fun
one
movie.
I loved this movie when I was younger.
Basketball.
I
Awesome
also
movie.
loved this movie.
So this
And I
is a
do-
funny one.
2000 or
H2O. 20 years later, which is now 20 years later from 20 years later.
Oh gosh.
So wrap your head around that.
What did you say?
H2O. It's Halloween 20 years after the first Halloween movie, but this is now 20 years old. So H2O 20 years later is now 20 years later.
1978 is when the original Halloween came out?
Yeah, 40 years ago.
Jesus Christ.
That's why this year's Halloween release was so significant. Which, did you see that movie?
Not yet. No, I want to.
Really good.
Yeah. That's what I hear. I want to see it.
Rush Hour came out this year, which is really good. It spawned a trilogy.
Love it.
Urban Legend. A Night at the Roxbury. Everyone knows that from the little car sequence.
Yep.
Bride of Chucky.
It was all right.
Pleasantville, which
Good.
with everything going on in the world, you should really watch that one.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, it is.
American History X.
Actually,
Got it.
really like
The only thing I
Pleasantville.
remember from American History X is the curb stomp.
Very sad.
Yes.
Very rough.
The Water Boy. Some high quality
Yeah.
H2O. You never seen The Water Boy?
Nope.
Oh my God, sir.
What?
So you never seen The Water Boy.
I guess I can't talk.
I
But just know
still
that
know what you did last summer.
We were just talking about that the other day.
You've Got Mail.
good jam.
Patch Adams.
Another good Jim or Robin Williams.
Yeah,
Sure.
rest in peace.
One got ripped on here and there though.
Patch Adams did, yeah. And The Faculty.
Good jam.
So some debuts. Mr. Locksteady. We have Elizabeth Banks in Surrender Dorothy.
He's got to put everything back the way it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
Hey, there's people on that screen.
it's us doing people things.
Are you though?
Trying to.
Bam.
Hey, there we go.
I assume that's her. That's the best I could figure out.
Okay.
In the back there.
In the back
Yeah.
of the right, yeah.
Kristen Bell in Polish Wedding.
Huh.
Tay Diggs in How Stella Got Her Groove Back.
How he spent most of the movie, apparently. Every single shot is like that.
Yeah. Snoop Dogg in Half Baked. Cedric the
Shocked.
Entertainer in Ride. Josh Hartnett in Halloween H2O, which is hilarious that was his debut.
With Jamie Lee Curtis, if I'm not mistaken there.
Yep, that is Jamie Lee Curtis reprising her role. Chris Kattan. Well, wait, did I skip one? Yes, Kate Hudson in Desert Blue. Chris Kattan in Night at the Roxbury, which again is funny that that's his film debut.
Well, yeah, because he was mostly in SNL.
SNL stuff. Yep.
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf, The Christmas Path. So he was super young.
That's before even Stevens. Even.
Yeah, that's before that. Lindsay Lohan in The Parent Trap.
I love this movie.
But which one is it?
Eva Mendes, Night at the Roxbury.
That was her debut. That's
Yeah.
crazy that was her debut.
Film debut, yeah.
Cillian Murphy in The Tale of Sweetie Barrett.
Cillian Murphy, I think, right?
I am pretty sure you are correct, Rabbit.
Is it Cillian? I thought it was Killian.
I think it'd be okay if it was Killian, like Killian Dane.
Oh.
But yeah, he's a great actor though.
Oh yes. He went on to play, who was it, Scarecrow?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Which
Super
I
good.
really enjoyed him in that role.
Mhm.
Speaking of that movie trilogy,
Great segue here. That movie trilogy. Christopher Nolan made his directing debut in The Following, or just Following, rather. Amy Poehler, Tomorrow Night.
that is Louis C.K. spraying her with a water hose.
That's what I was gonna say too.
Rebecca Romaine, Dirty Work. That's quite the beard.
Yeah, better than mine.
Jason Schwartzman in Rushmore.
God, he looks so young.
Jason Segel or Segal. How do you say it? Segel?
Eagle. Is
It
this?
is, okay, Sarah looked it up. It is Killian, by the way.
It's an Irish name.
It is Killian with a C.
Yeah.
That seems weird to me.
Shenanigans.
Is Irish. It's my people. Dax Shepard in Hair Shirt.
Literally could not find a fucking picture of him in that movie because his one scene was vomiting in the background of the scene.
Why does it say too smooth?
Celtic, it's Celtic.
I don't know, and I spent 25 minutes looking that up, and that is the actual cover art for that movie, apparently, according to the Amazon listing, the wiki page, IMDb. I'm like, why does it not say Hair Shirt?
Weird. Dax Shepard, so a Hair Shirt. And then Jason Statham, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
I need to see this one too. I tried to watch it one time and I just fell asleep because I was absolutely exhausted. I have a hard time watching movies when I'm really tired.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I get all amped up. I get 10 minutes into it, and all of a sudden...
Yeah.
And it's like one of those nights you go to bed a little early because you're amped up to like sit in bed and watch or something, and you still fall asleep.
Just fall asleep.
So our last topic here is usually our shortest one, as we kind of put you in the mood on your drive home or your night, just to kick back and relax. We want to get you in nostalgic mood with some music. So a little bit of notes here first. March 24th, NSYNC released their debut album called NSYNC. September 14th, Total Request Live, or TRL, is broadcast for the first time on MTV. October 23rd, Britney Spears' debut single, Baby One More Time, is released. It would become the top-selling single of 1999, selling over 9 million units worldwide.
That's crazy.
October 19th, Believe, the first single of Cher's 22nd studio album of the same name, is released, becoming a Super Smash hit. After 7 consecutive weeks atop the UK singles chart, it became the best-selling single in that country. Also the best-selling single by a female artist in UK history. In March 13th of 1999, Believe became Cher's 5th number one single in US, spending 4 consecutive weeks at number one and becoming the best-selling single of that year. If you believe in life after love. Do you remember when South Park mocked that with the meteor shower episodes?
Yes, I do.
And they just pumped it on the speakers. And everyone just wanted to kill themselves. Good
Wasn't
stuff.
the
right
whole
there.
point of that
Good
that they
stuff.
thought everybody was going to kill themselves?
Yes. Yes. It's pure irony. So the biggest hit singles. We're going to go through the top 5, and these are ones you'll add to your playlist. Celine Dion had the number 1 hit with her theme love song
From the Titanic.
from Titanic. That did really well in our No, it didn't do well in our brackets.
Haha.
Yikes. But she did have the number 1 song of 1998 with My Heart Will Go On.
And the previous chart topper for UK is number 2, Cher.
If you believe.
In live. And then number 3, we're
song
going to
I
have
hate.
Aerosmith, I Don't Want to Miss a Thing. That's from the Armageddon soundtrack, the number 1 movie of that year.
Yep, indeed.
Armageddon, you guys to move on to the next song, though.
So I don't know this one. I'd have to listen to it. Do you know this one?
I don't.
Run DMC and Jason Nevins. It's like that. I probably would recognize it if I heard it, but I don't know it. This last one though is Eric's favorite.
Yeah. You're still the one I run to. The only. Yeah, no, I love this song.
Shania Twain, you're still the one. What is she doing?
She looks cold.
Yeah, she's like, get me out of here. Take the picture.
I think it's because she's naked.
She might be naked. That's somewhat inappropriate for our show here. Almost as bad as a baby penis.
I was going to say, do we need to go back to the early years?
Good God.
I was listening to parts of that Run DMC song, and it kind of sounds boring as shit.
Well,
So,
it's the
just saying.
90s.
Yep. Which that was.
That was indeed the year that was 1998. So next week, Friday, for the weekly dosage. Again, this has been episode 58. We didn't lead the show with that, so we'll close with it. But episode 59 next week, we will ultimately be closing our original run here of All the Good Culture. We may return to this series in some form or facet in the future. But after next week, we're kind of wrapping up the 90s with 1999. And we'll talk about where we go from there. But as of right now, next week is concluding All the Good Culture. This 10-episode series will be concluded with the next episode. If you're watching on YouTube right now as part of a playlist, thank you for making it this far. You've watched about 14 hours of content. So, holy crap. Good job. Thumbs up to you. But ultimately, we are Dose of Nerd Acumen, and this has been All the Good Culture. Tune in next week, Wednesday, for a brand new episode of Nerd Acumen Wrestling. And then, of course, next week, Friday, join us for the year that was 1999. To stay updated on everything else between, catch us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Hop on our Discord, chat with us.
Links will be in the description.
Yeah, you can find us anywhere. So, any final thoughts from you boys?
Nah, dog. I'm going to go get me some pizza.
Pizza time. We had pizza too.
Pizza time.
So,
Like them old Ninja Turtles.
them Ninja Turtles.
Because they yelled that when you picked it up in the games.
They do.
It's pizza time!
Pizza time. So, again, thank you all. Follow, subscribe, like, comment, share, do all those things. Cheer with your bits. We appreciate you and everything you do. So until next time, just keep watching our stuff. Don't watch anyone else's, because ours is better. Bye.